Hello, I'm going to be putting all the Dark Tower books in a list from 8 to 1. I will be counting the one through the keyhole. I don't see why I wouldn't. Uh, 8 being my least favorite, 1 being my favorite. Uh, if you disagree with me, write about it in the comments. If you agree with me, write about it in the comments. I'm sure I'm going to put this list way out of order for some people, and maybe some people will get it right on, but this is just my opinion. All right, so the worst Dark Tower book. I don't think there's any really bad Dark Tower books, but the worst one, I'm gonna say, Song of Susanna, number 6 in the series. Song of Susanna. I like the way Song of Susanna starts, which is kind of like with Roland and Jake and Eddie kind of being on their own. Oh, by the way, spoilers. A lot of spoilers in this video. If you haven't read the series, if you plan to read the series, if you're only partly read the series, I'm gonna be talking about like everything that happens in the book. So this is your warning. Don't complain about it. I'm warning you right now. There are spoilers. So anyway, I like the way Song of Susanna starts out, and then I just don't really like where it goes. I like there's parts of it I like, but overall it just seemed like filler between 5 and 7. It's pretty short. It's one. I think it's the second shortest in the series. Uh, but overall, Roland meeting Stephen King, I know a lot of people kind of hate that. I didn't really hate it. I kind of understood why he did it, but overall, it doesn't really compare with the other Dark Tower books to me. Number 7, being the second worst, is The Gunslinger, the first one. I've heard people say this is their favorite, and then I've also heard people say they hate it. A lot of people try to start Dark Tower series and can't do it because they don't like this book. But, I like the story in it. I don't really like it the way it's written. You can tell he wrote it when he was 19, and he went back and revised it, but he didn't really change the writing in it. He just kind of changed some of the story elements. I still like it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's just when you're making a list of your favorite books, of your favorite book series, there's something's got to end up on the bottom, and Song of Susanna and Dark Tower are the ones, or sorry, Gunslinger are the ones that end up on the bottom. After that, number 6 is The Drawing of the Three. It's the second book in the series. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, I know, because The Drawing of the Three, to a lot of people, is the best in the series, or like, don't mess with Drawing of the Three. A lot of people like Drawing of the Three. And I like Drawing of the Three, but I'm going to say the same thing I said with Song of Susanna, which is it kind of feels like a setup. You're introduced to a lot of your characters in here, but it just seems like, okay, we're getting ready to go on the journey, and the journey starts in the third one. And it's so much of just like, okay, we got to get all the characters in here, learn a bit about them, and then we can begin. But having said that, this is really well written, and it's. I was really considering putting higher up on this list just because I like it so much, but I like the other ones better. After that, at number 5 is where I'm going to put Wind Through the Keyhole. I love Wind Through the Keyhole. I love this book so much, but more than half of it wasn't even about Roland or his quartet, and it was about Tim Steinhardt and kind of a tale of Midworld, which is really entertaining. But I want to hear about Roland. I buy a Dark Tower book because I want to know about Roland. And you barely hear about Roland's quartet. He's there in the beginning and the end, barely, but it's mostly about Roland's childhood and then the Wind Through the Keyhole. But still, I really like the Wind Through the Keyhole. It's the one Dark Tower book that I have read twice. If that's saying anything. I'm considering reading the whole series again, but that's the one I just like. I finished it and then I went back a little bit later and read it again. After that, at number 4 is Wolves of the Kala. I've heard a lot of people do not like the Wolves of the Kala, and that's because of the writing in it. I agree. The writing in it is not very good. But I love the story in this one so much that for a while I was considering, putting it at second or third, just because I love the idea of there's so much growth in the quartet in this one, and there's so much of like the whole idea of like this town and having such a threat of the wolves, and then Roland having to kind of come in and be the hero that everybody like needs him to be, and I just love the story in it a lot. This would probably be the one I'd reread next, but I kind of want to reread them in order. But there's so much about. I love the setting in this one. Called Sturgis is an awesome place in the Dark Tower universe. Number 3 would be number 7 in the series, The Dark Tower. I put this number 3 just because it's so epic. It's the most epic of the series. It has such an enormous scope and covers so much of Midworld, and it's just always moving along. And I think this one is the best or the most well written of the new 3 after his accident involving the car. He kind of wrote those 3 really fast, and I think that this is the one where he really stopped and said, okay, I'm really going to tie everything together in a good way and really work. It kind of put this book into 3 sections. There's like Blue Heaven, New York, or not really, they're not even New York, but our world, and then, back to Midworld to the White Lands of Empathica, and then to the Dark Tower. And each just keeps moving. It's really interesting, and this is the closest I came to, crying with certain parts of this book. It's just really amazing. I did a great job with it. Number 2, Wizard and Glass, the 4th in the series. A lot of people put this as number 1, but I was considering putting it number 1 because I think that this is the best writing of the series. I think where Stephen King was really in his prime. It just like the way he just everything in it is just like flawless, like flowing sentences, and throughout the entire thing, which is pretty long. But the only reason that I didn't put it in number 1 is because I don't really like the story that much. I'm more interested in Roland as an adult with his content than I am with him as a kid. I really do like it, though. I thought it was a great story. And of course, if anybody has been paying any attention, they can figure out what I'm putting for number 1, which is the 3rd in the series, The Wastelands. No, just so much good stuff here. It's really where we learn like what the quest is all about and what like the or what's going on in Midworld. Why there's robots and magic in the same place. It's got so much story. I'd say it's the 2nd most epic after the 7th. The writing in this is really good. I would say put it on par with the 4th one. Just so much good stuff. You go from pulling Eddie out in the forest, which is awesome, and then you go to Tull. Or sorry, not Tull. What am I saying? What's it called? Lud. You go to Lud. And it has Blaine, which is one of the coolest characters in the series. Geez, just so much good stuff in this book. That's why I'm going to put it as number 1. That's right. Wasteland, you win. You are the best Dark Tower book, in my opinion. So that's it. You go Song of Susanna, Gunslinger, Drawing of the Three, Wizard and Glass, Wolves of the Kala, Dark Tower, Wizard and Glass, Went to the Keyhole. That's what I meant to say when I was talking back there before Wolves of the Kala. And then best would be The Wastelands. It's just my opinion. I would love for somebody to say how wrong I am in the comments and write down their opinion, or maybe make their own video. I'm really interested in this series. I'm really interested in what people think, because I can't, like, everybody, when you're talking about the Harry Potter series, everybody says, oh, Prisoner of Azkaban the best. But I haven't picked out a certain one in this series that everybody likes more than all the others. It's just, everybody has a different opinion. Some people hate the first, some people love the first. Some people hate the last ones, some people love the last ones. A lot of people love the love story in Wizard of Glass, and a lot of people think it's like, it goes too far, so it's not really, it doesn't feel genuine. But that's my list. That's all I gotta say.